Hey VC, it's me Roger back with another video. In the background we're listening to My Bloody Valentine, MBV. This came out this year, way overdue, like 8 years or something. I didn't think it would ever come out. It's really good, way better than I could have hoped. I have the vinyl, the CD came with it. We're listening to it on iTunes on my studio monitor. Quietly. The music's been way too loud in my last couple videos. Sorry about that. I'm trying to figure all this stuff out. Anyway, I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas and got lots of cool records. I've got some stuff to show you. The best Christmas present of all had to be not one, but 2 whole days with Sam Bird here in my home studio, making music, hanging out, listening to records. It was awesome. We recorded over 150 minutes of music, the majority of which is some of the best music we've ever done. The goal is, I want to put something out on vinyl. Let's start with an EP, it's 7-inch. So pressing plant here in town. Let's start with a 7-inch, see how that goes. Yeah, I'm psyched. And if you watched the video last week, you got to meet Sam and see some of his records. He has an amazing record collection, and I begged him to make videos. He claims that he won't do it on his own, but he says when he comes to visit, he'll bring records and we'll do more joint videos. So let's hope that happens again soon. Hi, Sam. Cheers, VC. Having some Woodford Reserve, Kentucky bourbon. Smooth. So records, yes. My sister Molly gave me a great present, gift certificate to Grimey's, my favorite record store here in town. And the day after Christmas, I couldn't wait to get out of the house and go check it out. And they were pretty picked over, you know. People were buying records, you know, like fiends apparently right up till Christmas. But this had been sitting there for a long time, and I figured it would still be sitting there. And I'd heard some of this before. Someone had given me a CD back around the turn of the century, and I didn't like it. I got rid of it. But Sam brought this new reissue over when he came to visit, and we listened to it, and it's really interesting. And most importantly, my wife liked it. So I thought, well, okay, I might as well get this. Of course, I had to go for the vinyl. Stark reality, acting, thinking, feeling. This is 6 LPs, and this nice slipcase. I guess everything they ever did. Now, Stark Reality was a band started by Monty Stark in Boston. This guy. So he plays vibes. Here we have very young John Abercrombie on guitar. Bass and drums I'm not sure on. Vinnie Johnson on drums and Phil Morrison on bass. So yeah, this Monty Stark guy, brilliant musician, and he would take the vibes and he'd run them through a distortion box and amp it up and get these wild sounds. But he also sang, and so this is like 1969, 1970, 71, and it's not quite jazz, it's not quite soul, and curiously, they did this one record for Ahmad Jamal's label. Stark Reality discovers Hoagie Carmichael's music shop. Music from the WGBH classroom television series. WGBH is public television in Boston. It still is, I guess. So yeah, there was this, children's show based around Hoagie Carmichael's music, and they got Stark Reality, to do this record. Now this cover doesn't look real promising. The whole thing doesn't look promising. It's interesting. Singing, like I said, the singing's not great, but interesting. And this is not children's music. This is funky soul fusion, something that's pretty wild. This whole box is on Now Again Records. They've spread this out over 3 LPs. Really nice. 7-inch. Dark Reality, Roller Coaster Ride, spread out over 2 LPs, nice. And then 1 disc, Acting, Thinking, Feeling. There's one start there. And it has this nice booklet. John Abercrombie there. Yeah, so I think these guys were sort of rediscovered, not just the John Abercrombie connection, but the whole crate digging, beat maker, hip hop breaks. There's a lot of great breaks on here. And anyway, it's real interesting. It's an interesting box set. It's really well done. Pressings are flawless. Again, spread out over multiple discs. Really nice. So thanks, Molly. I'm going to enjoy that a lot. So while I was out, I'd been pretty good. I've been a good boy. I hadn't bought any records for myself in a couple weeks. So, on Boxing Day, I went to Grammys 2. There wasn't much there. So I thought I'd go back to Great Escape, where they had all those jazz albums, and I told myself if this was still on the wall, it was on the wall, it's a little pricey, but if it was still there, I was gonna buy it. It's this, Albert Eiler, Holy Ghost. Now I have the 9 CD box set, it's beautiful carved spirit box. These are on Revenant, John Fahey's label. This is one of the most amazing box sets ever, CD or no. But I thought, if the vinyl was still there, 3 LPs, so it's just excerpts from that massive box set, which admittedly includes some interview discs. But this is the cream of the crop. It's on this triple gatefold. Not surprisingly, there's a little tear. This is kind of flimsy. You can see the cover's torn at the corners here. Otherwise, mint. It's on clear vinyl. These beautiful labels. Revenant didn't put out a lot of records, but what they did was always first class, and this is great stuff. Mostly live stuff. Includes the Val Wilmer essay from the series Your Life, which is excerpted in the book that comes with it. So yeah, most of these are live recordings. Various sound quality. But the interesting thing is that it's stuff that no one had ever heard. If you're into Eiler, there's a lot of bootleggy stuff out there. And this is incredible, including a 20-minute excerpt of a set with Cecil Taylor from 1962, Jimmy Lyons, Sonny Murray, and oh man. Eiler holds his own, but Cecil is, he's on another planet. I'm a big Cecil fan, and I've never heard him play like that. 62 is a transitional year for him, but man, he is, wow. Mind-blowing stuff. It also comes with some ephemera that's not in the CD box set, like this postcard of Albert Eiler, and this poster. Train was the father, Pharaoh was the son, I was the Holy Ghost. Indeed, Albert Eiler was a ghost anyway. He was here and then he was gone. Died mysteriously. Anyway, incredible. I was super happy to find it. Sounds great. You know, again, not great sound quality, but pressing is beautiful, quiet, analog sounding. So of course I had to dig around a little bit, and this is something I would not have known about except for the VC. Jason Lind, Couscous. It's on Metronome, distributed by CTI. Yeah, well, he'd come up a lot recently because he passed away recently. Swedish flautist. And appears to be an all-Swedish band. Recorded in Stockholm in 1972. This is beautiful. Really interesting flute technique. Sometimes very breathy and vocalized and percussive almost sometimes. And also, you know, straightforward flute playing as well. And there's nice Fender Rhodes stuff. Just has a nice feel. Thank you, VC, for turning me on to this guy, and may he rest in peace. A couple of records that I'd seen there before, but left behind. I'm not sure why. Well, they were, because I'm a huge Andrew Hill fan. This is Divine Revelation on Inner City, 1976. Quartet with Jimmy Vass on saxophones and flute, Chris White on bass and Fender bass, Leroy Williams on drums. I love Andrew Hill. You know, I love his classic Blue Note stuff. Is essential, of course. But I love everything I've ever heard him do. He's got a really unique conception, rhythmically, and harmonically, and melodically. Just really instantly recognizable. And this is a great record. Side 2, the title track, 25 minutes long, goes some really interesting places. I can't believe I passed this up before. $6 or something. Another Andrew Hill record, Faces of Hope on Soul Note. This is a solo piano record from 1980. Interestingly, you know, as late as 1980, this myth that he was born in Haiti was still being propagated. It's unclear, you know, where that came from, but he was born in Chicago. Passed away in 2008, 2007, something like that. He was going right up to the end, you know. This is great, solo piano. He's made a number of solo piano records. They're all beautiful, very ruminative. You can hear him thinking his way through the music as he plays. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what it sounds like to me. It's incredible. One last record. I was a little disappointed, actually. Lenny White, Big City. This is 1977 on Emperor, Atlantic subsidiary. I have Venusian Summer I got recently, and that's a killer fusion record. And of course I have Adventures of Astral Pirates, which I've had since I was a kid. Crazy cool, crazy. But this is a little different. There's some nice stuff here with Herbie Hancock and Paul Jackson and Pat Gleason and young Marcus Miller. Jan Hammer's on here. It's a little all over the place. There's some stuff with strings and vocals. I don't know. Some great tracks. But as a whole, I was like, I'm gonna hold on to it, listen to it again. So yeah, that's it for the Christmas records. I was given some pretty amazing books, music-related books. If you're not interested in books, turn it off. And if you're not interested in the Beatles, you can turn it off as well. Yes, that's right, I'm flying the Sgt. Pepper's flag. So yeah, Sam gave me a present. This is the complete Beatles recording sessions by Mark Lewison. This originally came out in 1988, and it's been in and out of print. I never got a copy. I've looked at his several times before. You know, it's classic. He was given access to every single tape in the Abbey Road the Beatles archive, and so it's day by day, every session, what they were working on, what they did. It's fascinating, you know. If only for the whole history of recording technology. I mean, they went from 2-track, left, right, you know, record, playback, to 4-track, to eventually 8-track, and spearheaded all kinds of revolutionary recording techniques that are still used today. And when you think about how primitive a record like Sgt. Pepper's was, technologically, it's amazing that it sounds as good as it does. That it's not overloaded with hiss. And anyway, this is a fascinating read. I read it cover to cover over the holiday. I listened to not the albums, but some bootlegs. If you have a collection of bootlegs, this is enormously helpful in sorting all that stuff out. Great. Thank you, Sam. This is awesome. Then my in-laws sent me a couple of books. This massive tome just came out this year. All the songs, the story behind every Beatles release. I don't know how many pages it is. It's massive. Sure, a little redundant of this, but it takes a different approach, and it benefits from a couple of decades of subsequent research. And there's lots of really cool photographs and their gear, and some more of a narrative sort of format, discographical information, and I just started reading it. Great fun. And just to gild the lily, wow, shaking the table. They also sent me this. So you might be aware of the first in a proposed 3-volume biography of the Beatles all these years by Mark Lewison. It's the first volume, Tune In. 900 pages, and you only get to 1962. So yeah, 900 pages, and they're still not really the Beatles yet. This was 10 years in the making. God help us if it's going to take another 20 years to finish this trilogy, because it may not live that long. Overkill? You think so? As it turns out, on Friday after Christmas, when Sam came over, he brought this big box. So in England, only available in England, there's a 2-volume of this, 1,600 pages and 2 lovely cloth-bound editions. Box. Crazy, huh? Had I known, I might have asked the in-laws to plump for the 2-volume edition. As it is, this is going to be a lot to chew on. One last thing I want to show. had this for a while, but part of our Christmas traditions. We don't have a lot, but this is one of them. Pull this out, listen to it. This is the Beatles Christmas messages that they would send out to their fan club. Little flexi discs originally, and then I think some of the later ones were on vinyl or shellac or something. There's a picture of what the covers looked like. And then in 1970 it was released on a limited LP, the Christmas album, that was again sent only to their fan club, I think. The vast majority of these that you see out there on these LPs are counterfeits, so beware. These original flexi discs, I've never seen any of them. Extremely rare. And so what this is, they would record these cheeky little messages, and in '63 it starts out, very cutesy and scripted, but as time goes on, it traces the history of the Beatles from their, experimenting with drugs and tape manipulation and the rise and fall of their relationship. They start out all in the same room, and then by the end they're just doing their own thing. You can hardly stand to be in the same room together. But they're funny as hell. Lots of these little skits and crazy send-ups of songs, and I doubt this stuff will ever be reissued because there's some stuff comes flying out of John Lennon's mouth that I don't know that Yoko wants. Who knows? Anyway, so this is, a bootleg. Well, this is a fan put together. Purple Chick gathered all the bootleg sources and all the official sources, really, and put together the deluxe editions of their whole catalog and the BBC stuff and Twickenham's. Anyway, every Christmas we sit down and we listen to these and we laugh because they're funny and trippy and crazy. This used to be a lot easier to find on the internet, but it's around. If you're a Beatles fan, you've never heard their Christmas messages, you're really missing something. I'm going to stop. Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy New Year. And let's hope for great things in 2014. I'll see you soon.